communicating and meeting with the community, the police who are providing reassurance patrols on top of what they're doing with their cordon work as well. I just want to reiterate and support the comments made by the inspector. Please, people, stay out of the area. Let the firefighters and the first responders do their job. That is critically important. And just on that note too, I do want to highlight the fact that we had a fire in Tasman recently where some brain surgeon decided to put a drone up, and I'm sending a very clear signal: do not put drones up, do not interfere with that scene, because number one, you put the pilots in those helicopters and those fixed wings in extreme danger, and number two, they actually have to ground the aircraft, and it interferes with the fighting of that fire. So anyone that thinks that they're going to put a drone up or interfere with our firefighters and first responders, those actions will be met with serious consequences. Can I acknowledge the mayors who acted quickly to establish a local state of emergency? That is important because it allowed police and other first responders to evacuate people out of their homes. I want to acknowledge Fenz, the firefighters that responded extremely quickly, surged into the area with assets, both air and on the ground. And I just do want to highlight too that actually through that quick response, it appears that they have actually saved some households. So they have done an outstanding job. I'm quite simply here to provide support and see what additional support may be required from a central response going forward. Thanks very much. Sorry, I do want to acknowledge Richard and his team as well for how quickly everything has come together. It is an outstanding team that is working hard to try and contain what obviously is a serious and difficult situation. So thank you.
Phil, would you like to?
Thank you, everybody. My name is Phil. This is Sam from.
Sell
One of the most important things is that we got together and created the declared the state of emergency because, as you can see, these guys know what they're doing. It's all very well for us to sit back. We're sitting in a building here. We've got the operations room next door. Everyone is together in the same place. We've got police, fire, St John's, we've got them all, and it is running extremely well. Far be it from us to get in the way. We open it up, we declare the state of emergency so that the people who know really what they're doing can have all the power to do what they do best.
Yeah, and we really want to say thank you to the Minister for being here and for local MPs and their support in this. Thank you to Fenz and to the police who have done an amazing job, but particularly to our civil defence staff who have coordinated this, and because of relationships pre-existing, because of previous things that we've been through, means that we're well prepared to work together to tackle this. We also want to acknowledge that while physically you can see the fire on the hills, this takes an emotional toll on people, and whether or not you're looking at the fire burning or you're thinking about your own friends and family, we want to acknowledge that. So please reach out to people that you know who might be affected by this, and if you need some help, don't do it alone, but connect in with others, friends and family.
And there's 2 evacuation centres set up, one in Selwyn, one in Christchurch, and they were set up more or less before we did the state of emergency. So all credit to them.
Yeah, and we'll just say that the fire too is not a respecter of boundaries, so Phil and I will continue to work together on this. The last fire that we had, 24 hours made a big difference, and so we're looking forward to this being brought under control today if possible, but we know that 24 hours last fire, things changed dramatically for the worse. So fingers crossed that the wind doesn't pick up and our crews can
The wind is not our friend.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Vanessa, do you want to add anything? So we'll take questions, and as we have questions, I'll invite Fenz and police and others to come up and respond to them.
Just curious to know, you're asking for photos 30 minutes before and after when the fire started. Are you treating it suspiciously?
With any such matter as this, we do start an investigation jointly with Fire and Emergency New Zealand as to the cause of the fire. At this stage, we can't confirm what the cause is or any further information, but things such as photographs or any eyewitness accounts will provide that information that we can gather and then determine the cause and if there is any human involvement.
Do you know if the fire spread into the Christchurch Adventure Park overnight or not?
I'll leave that to be don't believe so. But
No, and our fire crews on the scene took some preventative measures by removing the chairs, so working with the Adventure Park team up there, removing the chairs, keeping the ropes moving, just to ensure that we're protecting those assets. So at this stage, the fire hasn't gone into that area.
There's some suggestion the fire started in Overcut Forestry. Can you confirm that? Do you know where it started?
No, as police colleague just mentioned, we're still early stages of ascertaining how the fire started, and our fire investigators will be back on scene today to carry out that.
How many people have been evacuated? I know it's 80 properties. Do you know how many people have...
yeah, approximately 80 properties. There are some that have been fully evacuated. There are others that are basically ready to go. We're sort of using that sort of approach, just making sure people give a really good warning. There's been great communication through fire and emergency with the affected communities at meetings, and we'll have further of those today, just to let them know what the plans are going forward. Obviously, it's quite fluid, so the fire can change quite quickly, but at this stage, there's 80 households.
Do we know how many people were using the evacuation centres overnight?
I'm told there was none.
Obviously, there's been a lot of comparisons to the 2017 fires. Is there any sort of indication, obviously it's early days at this stage, but just sort of how it compared to how that sort of fire started and spread quickly to the current fire situation?
Yeah, as said, it's too early to ascertain how the fire started. Different fire conditions back then, so we're just treating this as a fire that, as it progresses, we're using the tactics that we need to deploy to tackle this current fire.
A lot of resources currently on the ground there, with the temperatures increasing, the wind picking up during the day. How far afield will resources come to support you?
Yeah, so we're working in the background here in our Region Coordination Centre to start planning for the next 12 to 24 hours. And we can utilise assets and our resources throughout the country. So we'll put the call into our National Coordination Centre and ask for any further resources that are needed.
The term disaster tourist was used just earlier. Is this something you're starting to see more of, especially with these sorts of big events?
It's a term we use just for people who basically want to go and have a look. I don't think it's been used any more or less. Probably the only difference is with social media, people are trying to get shots onto their social media accounts. We have plenty of footage there from other media forums. So we're just, as I said, we're encouraging people not to come into the area just to have a look. It's really affecting these communities, and they need to have a chance to actually potentially get back to their houses. We need the firefighting equipment and gear getting in there, so we just need people out of the way.
Coordinating helicopters, 13 in the air, as well as 2 fixed-wing aircraft. How you, in order to get the fixed-wing aircraft in to bomb the fire, are you having to ground helicopters when they come in, or can they sort of all work around each other? How are you managing that?
Yeah, so we have subject matter experts that manage the air attack, so specialists in their fields, and they make those decisions around how we deploy those helicopters and fixed-wing aircrafts.
There's been some concern from schools in the area around whether they'd be open today. Is there any message from Ministry of Education or educators on that status?
At this point, no. We don't have an update, but we will leave that to the Ministry of Education. I just want to add a couple of things. First of all, the question was asked about whether it's spread into the Adventure Park. It is just on the boundaries of the Adventure Park. It hasn't spread into the heart of the Adventure Park as it did previously. So just clarify that. And also, just in relation to the 2017 fires, just like to acknowledge that there was a lot of lessons learnt from that, and I think we're seeing a different response.
Just in terms of radar and communication up the top of Four Hills, what preventive measures have been taken to stop the fire going to those locations? There's a lot of things used by airways and Fenz for communication and whatnot?
We are well aware of those very strategic assets, and Fenz will be building those into their fire plans. We might just take one more question and then wrap it up.
There were a half dozen properties under extreme threat. What is the current situation there?
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, we haven't lost any houses overnight, which is, full credit to our teams out there on the fire ground. Depending on the conditions today, it's about how we protect those structures. So we build fire lines around them and go into protection mode in regards to keeping those assets, safe. Yeah.
How close is the fire? How close is the fire currently to?
I couldn't give you those answers. I can get those answers a bit later once I get another update from the incident ground. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said at the beginning, Fenz and police will not be available for interviews, but I understand the two mayors and the minister will be available. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you.